Have you ever wondered all the risks that an automotive company might face from getting a vehicle from spare parts to a full automobile? Good afternoon. My name is Santiago Corral Varela, and today I'll be sharing with you the risks that Ford Motor Company face. What is Ford? Founded on June 16, 1903 by Henry Ford in Detroit, Michigan, Ford Motor Company has become one of the largest automotive companies in the world. Ford is an automotive manufacturing, design, and production company with a full line of vehicles to fit almost anyone looking for a car. Along with Ford, they have a luxury automobile company that is Lincoln. Today, the company is led by CEO Jim Farley and can be broken down into three main sectors: the automotive industry, the mobility sector, and Ford's line of credit sector. The company has amassed a workforce of over 183,000 workers and will continue to expand as Ford is looking to enter new endeavors. Their strategy. Ford's mission statement is to make people's lives better by making mobility accessible and affordable. Ford executes this mission statement through the company strategy. Since the company's founding, the strategy has evolved to fit and compete with current times and companies, but at its core, it has remained the same. The way Ford has been able to grow the company and retain satisfied customers is by putting the customers first. The biggest part of Ford's strategy is affordability, without compromising performance. Cost leadership has always been at the heart of Ford's strategy, as they want to produce the greatest product they can for the average customer while giving them the best product possible simultaneously. Another part of the strategy is the design of the car. Although you may be able to produce an affordable car, that won't mean that people want to buy the car if it isn't appealing to the eye. So in order to avoid this, Ford knows interior designs are important, and the company is using high-tech research methods to get an edge on the competition, going as far as to use biometrics and eye tracking to measure where consumer eyesight lingers the most, according to Fool.com. The affordability aspect does not only take place during the purchase of the car, but also post-purchase. J.D. Power cite gas mileage as the most influential reason when deciding to purchase a new vehicle. That's the fourth consecutive year that gas mileage was the most important factor in this study. Ford has made this part of their strategic plan by developing EcoBoost, which is its fuel efficiency technology that Ford has released to new engine models in all vehicles. This technology doesn't interfere with performance of the car, but adds more gas mileage to the car so you can have longer rides at a lower cost. Finally, its most recent strategic move has been announced as Ford Plus. Ford Plus is Ford's effort to invest more assets to produce, design, and manufacture EVs, or electronic vehicles, in an effort to become more environment friendly and roll out all EVs by 2030. Ford are prepared for today and tomorrow's world. So let's get into the risks faced by the company. Rising inflation rates. Like most companies today, Ford is feeling the post-COVID effects of rising inflation and higher interest rates. This is a huge threat and risk posed to Ford as it disrupts multiple facets of the company, such as production and sales. Raw material prices, such as aluminum, which Ford uses in its bestseller F-150 truck, are going through the roof due to these rising rates. Ford have been forced to raise their prices, which goes against their core value of cost leadership. Customers aren't willing to pay the full price. They're looking for longer loans to make purchases more affordable, which isn't ideal for the company. Due to this, Ford have incurred around $1 billion in extra costs, and even the transportation of materials is rising as supply chains, domestic and ocean freight, is becoming extremely expensive as well. So, my risk treatment for inflation and interest rates would be to implement a plan of loss reduction. There's no way to physically reduce inflation or interest rates just because you want it to. It will take time to stabilize these rates. So in order to fight this problem, the company so the company can return to some sense of homeostasis would be by cutting off production on some of the least popular products, transfer those materials, labor force, and energy into producing the most popular products so their prices can lower again, which will attract customers. By doing this until rates lower, the company will be able to retain customers and make profit while staying true to its mission. Chip shortage. Another looming effect from COVID is to the detriment of Ford is that there's now a global chip shortage. That is a huge risk to Ford as these chips are what essentially make the car function in today's technologically advanced world. If the engine was the heart of the car, then the semiconductor chip is the brain of the car. They work as a circuit to control the flow Without it, the car wouldn't be able to do anything a modern car would. The chip shortage dates to early 2020 when COVID caused rolling shutdowns of vehicle assembly plants, according to CNBC. In this particular scenario, I would advise the risk treatment of retention. Trade tensions affecting the availability of components is much more a risk for Ford than tensions directly affecting vehicle sales. Ford's global wholesale sales fell 6% year over year in 2021. However, the chip shortage affects the entire automotive industry, which saw 7.7 million vehicles of lost production in 2021. The shortage will continue to impact Ford. However, the company is more optimistic about the chip situation improving throughout the rest of the year. Management expects to ship 10 to 15% more vehicles in 2022 than it did in 2021, according to Forbes. So the shortage isn't only affecting Ford, but almost every automotive company out there. With time, it is predicted that the shortage will end, and in the meantime, Ford can also work in collaboration with US-based companies in order to produce its own semiconductor chips as a solution while retaining the losses faced in an attempt to become less dependent on Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, which is the main source of semiconductor chips today. So Ford may have a more affordable alternative once the issue is resolved. Ford Credit. Ford Credit is one of the company's segments that is exposed to the most risk as it is the financial branch of the company. The branch deals exclusively with purchase or leasing of new Ford vehicles. It allows you to create your personalized plan to pay off your loan or payment method that suits your needs to Ford. This branch faces the biggest risks because many people will be able to drive off with a new car, but either won't make payments on time or any at all. Also, the potential of an untimely death, change in market value, so the customer doesn't end up paying the same dollar value that he owed when the loan was originally processed, or higher than expected credit losses. The treatment I would apply to this problem is risk reduction. It may be close to impossible not to have a loss along the way in this sector, but to lessen the losses even more, I would make the credit approval more rigorous, or if a payment is missed after 2 consecutive payments, I would increase interest rates in order to make sure that the majority of people are paying back what they owe in order to put pressure on them. In order to put more pressure on more customers to make the payment. In return for customers who make timely payments, they can receive benefits from the company in order to incentivize them to do so, rather than to be in fear of the downside of not making payments on time. For my final risk, natural disasters. Natural disasters can stall production at such a big company as they have plants all over the country. But they are mostly clustered into the same area of America in the north central sector. If a natural disaster passes through this sector, it is likely to hit multiple assembly plants at once and can put several of them out of commission depending on the severity of the event. My treatment technique for this risk would be the transfer of risk. I would ensure the plants and the machines needed to assemble the vehicles together, along with high-tech products that move forward Ford's innovation. So if anything is damaged, they will be able to resume to normal production level rapidly without having to worry too much about potential losses or not being able to afford to obtain the machinery once more. These are my sources, and those are the potential risks that Ford Motor Company